have never more needed new ways of seeing our world and imagining hopeful futures. And never before has there been a greater need for visual literacies to read these rhetorically, methodologically, and ethically in order to speak back to them, and to disrupt the hegemony of the text that harnesses their transformation and decolonizing potentiality.
Some aesthetics and ethics. Can we find some kind of common space between ethics not being just something that very mundane or something that we need to do or tick, but something that can be very aesthetic exercise that sort of can really be not only not only that kind of everyday mundane performance of our researcher subjectivity, but can be particularly collective term, that axiology that sort of really helps us to understand the relationship between aesthetics and ethics. So also we might just,
how can we navigate the tension between receiving and taking this data, providing some degree of assurity for the people that we're receiving this data from, yet not really having that control going forward? We're not reaching the point where we can't do this, because that would be sad. That would be a sad day for human research, when the visual aspects of humanity and people are so critical to understanding the challenges, the opportunities, the experiences of
We think of sight, along with all the other senses, as preferably a spiritual event rather than simply a human act. And an ethical move might be for Māori to redefine all our categories and phenomena, and sight would be one of these phenomena. So there's a massive, massive job, not just in relation to sight and the visual, but in relation to all other things that we have to, as part of a counter-colonial process, redefine and recategorize what we've taken for granted so far, and sight is one of those things. Our act of seeing is not only derived from the spiritual realm, it is suffused with it. The interconnected world works within what we call sight. In fact, the interconnected world is sight for Māori. Our act of seeing is populated by the all. We look through the eyes of the invisible, all that has been and all that is.
That's not always a good thing. We need to think about, what does it mean to have your camera on? What does it show about your house, your family, the living and learning circumstance that you're in? We know that being online and watching faces is hugely sort of stressful for the brain, and you're processing just an awful lot when you're looking at faces and eyes all the time. So I think that's another issue that we need to think about. And then the whole issue of assessment and surveillance, and the need to know that people are who they really are, and what does it mean? What does the video tell us that the face, and the still image, and why do we feel underconfident about a person being there if they have a name on a screen in the background?
We support navigation through the personal students' lives and the formal teaching experiences they have with us. And how do we encourage meaningful research projects with our students in an online context? How might we best creatively embrace pivoting to the current conditions? What are the potential visual opportunities available to develop work online ethically? And what are the challenges around relational pedagogies?
Also, we consider what's happening with situations after death. If a participant who is videoed in material which is published online dies, passes away, in some cultural contexts, it is not appropriate to keep imagery and videos of deceased people.
Questioning the authority of the camera. Like, when you have these images, does it really represent reality? What are the boundaries that we're facing when we use the image that's been captured in some way?
And seeing being, and the power of seeing and representing through the lenses of different filmmakers became a topic that we led to there, thinking about what it means to use film to understand and see being and seeing differently, more openly, but also in ways that challenge kind of expert authorities of what is seen around being.
We're offering a special topic of the Video Journal of Education and Pedagogy. on this very topic. And I'm hoping that many of you who have contributed today will think about contributing a visual article. So just so you know, for those not familiar with the journal, is we're promoting video in itself. And here's your opportunity to actually play around with the concepts of how far do you want to give primacy to the visual over the image, because we're open to having videos instead of articles, or articles which are text and image combined, and variations in between. We're a Scopus journal. I'm really interested in hearing from people as a result of today. If you would like to join us as a society, keen to develop a community of practice around these ideas. What I finally want to say is this is just the beginning.